Welcome to this week's session, Putnam County District Library, the Guiding Ohio Online Grant. This week we are going to do something a little bit different. We're going to look at kind of two totally different things that we could be doing on our computer, with one creating a signature and the other with a site called Numbero. So we're going to start off with the creating a signature, and I have several different sites that I'm going to show you in terms of where you could just make a signature if you wanted to always have something that would appear at the bottom of your emails. Before we do that, I just want to remind you that the project is supported in whole or in part by the Federal Institute of Museum and Library Services. It's granted through the State Library of Ohio, and the opinions expressed herein do not necessarily reflect the position or policy of IMLS or the State Library of Ohio, and no official endorsement by either agency should be inferred. So I'm going to start off with the first site being mylivesignature.com. This site is very full of extras on the page, so you do have to keep that in mind in terms of what you are clicking on. But the simplest, easiest way to do this is if you scroll down the page, you can get to where it has the draw a signature or type a signature. So I simply click here on go, and I can then at this point choose the color that I might want my signature to be, and then I can simply go up here and I can draw my signature. I can clear it. I could change my color again here. I'm going to double click here, pick a different color, and so forth. And I can go in here and draw a signature. Notice my color is not changing. I said click here to change. If I double click on these different color signatures, it looks like it should be changing. However, because I am not logged in or doing anything where I would register, I'm simply going to be able to do the black signature. So unless I were to log in and register, which I'm not interested in doing, I don't really care about my signature being a different color. This wouldn't be the site for me if I wanted to do that, but I can also go in as I had showed at the beginning, and I could just simply go here and I could type a signature in as well. So whatever I would type here is then going to create a signature, and I just say go, and then I'm going to have my different choices of what I would want my signature to look like. And at that point then I would be able to use whatever that signature is that I choose. Again, if I go back, these are both in beta form, so I can create a professional email signature with banners, or I can do something with, use a photo of your signature if I so choose to do that. Again, there are some limitations because I am showing anything and everything here that has to do with free. The next that I wanted to show you is this that is called with Canva. This I find a little bit more useful in the sense that I'm able to do more with it. I can draw my signature again, but the difference here is when I am drawing my signature, I have more options in terms of what I can do in terms of color, and it's just there's a little bit easier tools here to work with that. I can do the same thing here as I can do a typing of your signature. So it opens up the Canva app, and I can then choose my different styles here, and then whatever I type in, that's what I am going to see. At that point here is where I would download that signature, and then I would be able to use that wherever I would choose. If it's in an email, would probably be the most likely spot. I could add that to my email and then I could make it so that every time I send something, that's the signature you would see. And then the last kind of changing gears here is looking at this called Numbero. And what Numbero is it's Numbero. If you just simply type in Numbero, it's going to come up to this, but it's Numbero.com, and it's actually / the cost of living. But this is like the world's largest database that has but I want you to keep in mind it is user contributed data. Therefore that means it's only as accurate as what individuals are putting into it. But it has data on different cities and countries worldwide, and you can get the cost of living, you can do some comparison. It is totally free to use. But again, keep in mind it is user contributed data. So if I were to go simply to cost of living, for example, what you will find is you're going to find it is the larger cities. So if I were to type in Columbus, for example, I could go in. Now I can sign up with my Google. So if I have my Google signed up, and here I get my cost of living in terms of restaurants, markets, and again, the prices fluctuate based upon the data that is being entered by individuals. It's just kind of a nice starting point to maybe get some idea. You can also do comparisons. Before I do that, I do want to show you how, if I were to go to cost of living again here, pick a city or a country. So you can even do countries if you're planning on traveling. But if I just type in Ohio, what you're going to see is you're going to see anything that has to do with Ohio that is going to come up. Any of our communities and towns close by don't have those there. If anyone ever wants to contribute, you could go in and fill out all the information and it would be there. But as I've said before, you typically are going to get a little bit of the larger communities. But again, it's user contributed, so it's the people who have put information in. I can also do property prices. So the same thing, I could put in property prices. I did see Defiance, Ohio is close. But notice I have here price to income ratio. I have some question marks because things have not been entered here. I've got the pricing when it comes to apartments. Just a nice kind of little starting point maybe. And again, you can also do comparison, cost of living comparison. So I could pick 2 different cities and put those in as well and compare them out. So I could put in here Columbus, Ohio, and I could put in, say for example, Dayton, Ohio, and I could do a comparison. So I'm going to see that comparison with my differences here. So that is the 2 sites, or I should say really 3 sites that we were taking a look at. One being how to create an online type of signature that you might want, and then the other just this kind of little fun, different, unique site to look at in terms of Numbero and being able to look at the database and compare information in terms of property prices, cost of living, and such. Again, keep in mind that it's a project supported by the Federal Institute of Museum and Library Services funds, and we will be back next week. Hope everyone has a fantastic week.